ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
I've been smiling for hours now. Just pure excitement and joy.
San Diego youth and high school sports have a path back to competition. Today, a Superior Court judge ruled they can get back to playing their games following a lawsuit filed by two local high school athletes. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on this busy Friday night. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Our ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura spoke with the father of an athlete about the ruling and the road ahead.
There's a whole lot of kids in California today who have something to celebrate after 11 months of really devastation.
Marlon Gardenera and his son got what they hoped for. On Friday, a Superior Court judge issued a court order allowing high school and youth sports to resume as long as they follow the same COVID-19 protocols as college and professional athletes. Gardenera's son was one of two local high school athletes that filed a lawsuit against the county and the state. Gardenera says their argument: if college and professional athletes are allowed to play, they should be allowed as well.
There'll obviously be an appeal and some other eyes that get to take a look at this. But I've read the ruling and it was pretty clear, why and what. And I'm hoping that stands the test of time.
The ruling came on the same day as the governor announced new guidelines for resuming youth sports. To qualify, counties must have a COVID-19 adjusted daily case rate at or below 14 per 100,000 residents. San Diego County isn't quite there yet, but many believe it could meet those metrics by Friday the 26th. The new guidance applies to all organized outdoor youth sports and recreation, including school and community-sponsored programs, privately organized clubs and leagues, and adult recreational sports. It does not apply to collegiate or professional sports, community events like marathons, half marathons, and endurance races. For high-contact sports like football, boys or men's lacrosse, soccer, rugby, and water polo, the state is requiring COVID-19 testing of players 13 and older and coaches. The state says it will apply for and provide the tests. However, the judge's order has a wider impact.
And it allowed for basketball and other indoor sports to have a pathway to actually get back. But most importantly, between the governor this morning and the ruling this afternoon, my son's probably going to get his senior year, albeit in March rather than August.
Another hearing is scheduled for March 5th. Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
And tonight, the Navy is battling yet another coronavirus outbreak, this time aboard the San Diego-based USS Lake Champlain. A Navy source has confirmed a number of sailors assigned to the ship have tested positive for COVID-19. Those sailors were taken off the ship but are now quarantining at home. Crew members who came in contact with them are also at home monitoring for symptoms. None of the sailors have been hospitalized. Now, in a statement to 10 News, the Navy said, quote, all positives are in isolation in accordance with the U.S. Pacific Fleet guidelines. Force health protection for our sailors is a top priority.
Vaccination sites all over the country are closed this weekend because severe weather in the east has delayed shipments of doses. Meantime, Governor Gavin Newsom is sharing what the next few weeks will look like for the state's allotment. He tweeted California's forecast through the next 3 weeks, saying that there will be modest increases every week. Local vaccinators call it welcome news.
I think the projections are going to get a little bit more accurate. It's been a big complaint of vaccinators like us and like people running the larger sites that it's very hard to plan when we just don't have a good expectation of what's going to come.
San Diego County is still waiting on more than 50,000 missed doses going back to last week. And today, the federal government said it's ramping up efforts to get all delayed shipments where they need to go by the end of next week.
In the meantime, Sharp says it has a lot of Pfizer doses available to San Diegans this weekend. As of noon today, 3,000 appointments were still available at both the Chula Vista and the Grossmont Super sites for tomorrow and Sunday. Anyone eligible can make an appointment on the county's website. CAL FIRE also has appointments available for those who are eligible to receive the vaccines. Slots are now open on Sunday and Monday at their Carlsbad or Cuyamaca College sites. The vaccine being administered is Pfizer. First and second doses will be given out to anyone looking to receive the Pfizer vaccine. So to book an appointment, go to calvax.org or visit CAL FIRE San Diego's Twitter page.
Starting next month, thousands of COVID-19 vaccines will be set aside for teachers and school staff. Governor Gavin Newsom made that announcement today. He hopes that prioritizing vaccinations for staff will speed up the process for getting children back into the classroom. The president of the San Diego Education Association says that's great news.
We are all for getting the vaccine. We just want to do it safely.
Newsom says the state will set aside 10% of all first doses for school and child care workers starting March 1st. A bill in the legislature has a goal of reopening schools in mid-April. The county announced 812 new COVID cases today, while our test positivity rate ticked up to 5%. 34 more San Diegans have lost their lives to coronavirus, bringing that total now to more than 3,100. You can stay on top of developments with coronavirus by downloading the 10 News app. A free version is available in the App Store.
The energy authority that serves more than 75% of Texas is defending its handling of that winter storm that left millions in the dark and cold. Many are wondering if the power grid was properly upgraded to handle cold weather after federal regulators recommended that a decade ago. The governor says the state energy authority, ERCOT, claimed the system would hold.
They said 5 days before the winter storm hit, ERCOT assured that, quote, we are ready for the cold temperatures. They also said that ERCOT had issued a notice to power plants to ensure that they were winterized properly. ERCOT fell short on all three of these promises they made.
ERCOT is vowing to investigate. While the power is back on for most, 14 million people are now dealing with disrupted water supply and are forced to boil their water. There is some relief on the way, though. FEMA is delivering supplies such as water, blankets, and meals to the state.
Texas has been very humble and kind to me, so thank you, Texas, for making me that person.
A San Diego nurse is battling two disasters in Texas, a deadly winter storm and COVID. Anna Wilkinson went viral as the dancing nurse over the course of the pandemic. And tonight, she tells ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer De La Cruz how she's helping patients stay positive as the state's crisis continues.
For ER nurse Anna Wilkinson, practicing medicine is only part of the job.
We have to put this person and try to change their attitude.
Bringing joy to her patients is the other. The San Diego native was dubbed as the dancing nurse at the start of the pandemic. She's treated patients in hard-hit New York and Texas, curing illness with choreography.
They needed someone to dance, and I'm the dance queen.
The traveling nurse was called to San Angelo in January to help battle COVID-19. Just a few weeks later, a deadly winter storm would test her limits. Power outages left millions of Texans without any heat for days. Wilkinson's hotel has electricity, but the running water isn't safe.
We all take a bus, but now we're leaving super early because of the weather. So instead of sleeping a little bit more, we're actually leaving an hour early.
Patients she's seeing in the ER are struggling to survive.
And they're freezing. They're like 20 degrees in their house. Dialysis centers have been closed and they're scared, right? They're anxious. They don't know what's going on with them. And that's when I come in and I try to change it around.
In the middle of chaos, she's spreading cheer.
I always tell people, you know, there's a reason why I met you. There's a reason that I'm going to change your day. I'm going to make you happy. You're going to watch my dance moves.
Wilkinson says she doesn't know where she'll be next, but her dance moves will be right there with her.
I think if we bring more positivity in this world, that we can change so many attitudes. And that's what I do. Wherever they need me, wherever they need an Anna, I'll go.
Jennifer De La Cruz, ABC 10 News.
Former NFL player Kellen Winslow Jr. will get a 14-year sentence after changing his guilty plea today. Winslow withdrew his original plea and pled guilty to a lesser charge of assault with attempt to commit rape. He was looking at 12 to 18 years in prison. Now both sides are agreeing to a 14-year sentence. Winslow, whose father was a star with the Chargers, was accused of raping and exposing himself to 5 women.
The first group of migrants allowed to wait for their asylum cases in the U.S. are now in San Diego. 25 people were let in today. All of them have been processed and COVID tested. They are temporarily staying in a San Diego hotel, receiving shelter services and legal support from the group San Diego Rapid Response Network. before today. Asylum seekers had to wait for their court dates in Mexico as part of the Trump administration's migrant protection protocols.
The sentiment over the last 2 years that the program's been in effect has been really one of desperation. They want to do things the correct way. They want to have their day in court.
The Biden administration plans on accepting 25 people every day from the MPP program Monday through Friday. In a statement, East County Congressman Darrell Issa called that decision to bring migrants into the country during the pandemic reckless.